Hey, welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. Well, we're down on our annual Let Daddy and everybody else relax trip to a little place that we go in southern Missouri, very southern Missouri, almost down to Arkansas. It's a time that after the busy season with our businesses and after Christmas and after the New Year starts and everything else, we come down here and I just sit around and do nothing for about a week and start to get my head ready to complete the next book. About a fourth of the way through this next one, but now it starts to go fast after I have my week relaxation. Yes, I set this scene with the fire behind me so that you all could enjoy maybe relaxing as I relax. This is how I'm going to spend the next good long while. So I hope you all are able to as well. What I wanted to talk about right now for a few minutes is, and I should say, because with the kids watch this, they'll say, well, what are you talking about just you? What about us? What's about you just relaxing? Okay, well, the kids go off and they play and they have a good time. And Kelly goes off and have a good time. And she plays some and she relaxes some. So that's taking care of the whole tribe now. But back to this. There's been a lot going on lately. I know people are bouncing all over the place. And rightfully so, I understand. I don't understand people being stressed out about it. I'll have to say that, because what's happening lately is life. It is the fits and throes of politics in a crazy world, and a world getting crazier by the minute. I won't minimize what's going on in our country. It is serious and probably has never been more serious. Well, there might have been a couple of times it was more serious, but this is about as serious as you can get before real serious comes to town. However, I wanted to say a word about approaching this with a positive mind. Now, there are there are many ways to go at this. You can separate yourself from it. Matter of fact, I just saw Joe Fox, who I like all of his stuff, and so much of what I see on his reflects so much of what I think myself. He had mentioned going galt. To those of you who aren't familiar with that term, it comes from Atlas Shrugged. I read it years ago, and I've given copies to people all over the world because I think it's probably, next to the Bible, it's the most important book you can read. And if you haven't, you should. And if it takes you a year to read it, that's okay. Take a year to read it, because there are paragraphs in there that you will want to spend hours going over and thinking about and letting it rattle around in your mind. It is not a book, it's a life experience, I tell people. Well, anyway, Joe mentioned the other day the idea of going golf. I have gone golf. Back during Clinton, I came to the point to where I just wasn't going to support that system anymore. Now, it was kind of difficult because I owned a couple of businesses. And when you own a couple of businesses, it is difficult to do that. And those of you who have read the book understand that. If you haven't read the book, you don't quite understand it. But it has to do with refusing to feed a system with which you disagree at the most basic level, with your energy and your creativity and such as that. And I came to the point I just wasn't going to feed that monster anymore. And so I pretty much had to reduce my businesses down to just basic subsistence, to where it was just barely providing for my needs. When one person, now it made me feel good, but I know that, me not supporting the system didn't have any effect on the system. Now, if millions of people did that, it would have an effect on the system. So I am not denigrating that approach at all, because it's a personal approach. and it's one that I think is legitimate. And if enough people would do that and starve the beast would get weaker and weaker, and we'd be able to have a little more say over it. However, I find myself in a much different position now, as many of you are. I have a family. I have a wife and kids. I have several businesses that that we run, and it is I am not at the point where I'm going to shut all of that down in order to try to starve this monster. What I am going to do, and so that is one option that I want to throw out there. There is another option that I'm following now, and that is refusing to allow what's coming to have an adverse effect on me. Now you can say, well, how can you do that? How can you be sure not to let it have a negative effect on you? Well, I got a kick out of years ago. I used to hear, and it was probably during Clinton's term, or at least one of the Democrat terms, because whenever that happens, we know that the economy is going to take a turn for the worst, and in many cases, a big turn for the worst. And Limbaugh said one time, and he said repeatedly, I think, he says, well, if the economy goes in the pot, I'm just not going to participate. Well, he makes a lot of money. He makes a lot more money than I do, and probably more than you do. And it's easier for somebody like that with a media empire to say he's not going to participate, because he established himself through hard work and all, where he was pretty much insulated from the little fits and starts of the economy. Most people aren't in that position, but I think that his observation was an important one. You may be familiar with the saying that living well is the best revenge. It can apply to people. It can apply to things that happen with you in life. And I think that is another option here. We're going to have some hard times ahead of us. There are going to be political hard times. There's going to be threats against our constitutional rights. And there are going to be economic hard times coming. They will be harder if you just sit back and allow them to happen to you. And I am not a proponent of letting things happen to you. I used to tell people that I trained, either you do the whatever it was I was telling them to do, or it'll do you. And so I am a proponent of taking an active approach to your life. So as hard times come, so too do they provide opportunities. We have some friends that I could tell you some excellent stories about. I have a couple of friends that started making concealment furniture. They have good jobs. They have well-paying careers, but they started making concealment furniture, and they've gotten deals with some of the larger firearms distributors around, and they are doing more business than they can keep up with. Kelly has a friend, I know her too, that we were just talking to today. She makes a lot of money running booths at craft fairs and things. She sells butterflies. I don't know. Does she kill? You can just nod if you. Does she kill them herself, or catch them herself, or pin them, or something?
No, she buys them.
Okay, she buys, but she buys them. She buys mounted butterflies, and she takes them around, and
she mounts them herself.
She mounts them herself, and people come and pay her a bunch of money for that stuff. These are people who have figured out ways, and I've done it a number of times myself. We have a number of interests that we're involved in all the time, but I'm not going to talk about me. I'm talking about these people. You can find things to do that I'll bet you, if you put your head and your mind to it, you could increase your income a bunch in the next 6 months. Now, whether or not you're facing a crunch, I would suggest you do that, because something can happen down the road. I knew a guy that just 2 days ago lost his job. Never saw it coming. Been there 18 years, thought he had it made, and all of a sudden, bam, it's gone. Now, that's a crushing blow to anybody. more crushing if you didn't have any other irons in the fire. Less crushing the more irons you have. You ought to have as many things going on out there as you can keep up with, and you don't want to sacrifice the important things in your life, God, family first. But these things can be important elements of keeping your family supported, and they should be. The person who relies on a single income stream, I'm not going to say that they're stupid or foolish, because in the past we've been able to do that. We've been able to say, okay, I've got a good career, I've got a good job, everything's going to go just peachy. But things don't always go that way. So my main message here is that you should think, get away from the negativity of thinking that things are going to be horrible here in the near future because of the economic downturn. Okay, economic downturns provide many opportunities. You just have to see them. They provide different opportunities. Okay, and that's why a lot of people fail to see them. But if you get out there and you do something about it, you're going to be able to improve your life. And as you improve your life, you improve your ability to help other people, to be an example to other people, to help others in their quest for a better life. And you should be able to increase and improve the quality of your life. Don't let what's going on in the world around you affect your individual life. Okay, what's going on in the world, it can be devastating. It can be horrible. If I wanted to tell a couple of stories about how my family made it through the Depression, they're fascinating stories. They came out of it better than they went into it. I'm sure a lot of you have those same stories in your families, but it comes down to guts, determination, creativity, imagination, and the will to make good things happen out of bad situations. So I want to encourage everybody right now, where everybody is just banging their heads and going, oh, what's going to happen? Bad things are going to happen. I'm not saying that bad things aren't coming. Bad things are coming for our country. But whether bad things come for you depends a lot on you. Okay. Now, I know this hasn't necessarily been a preparedness. Well, yeah, it is. It is a preparedness video, because preparedness is about getting yourself in a position to be able to handle whatever comes along. And whether this, is the end of our country as we know it, that end will come someday. Whether it comes this time or not, we don't know yet. We should stay involved and do what we can to make sure, to the best of our ability, that it doesn't happen. But if it happens, our primary responsibility is to our families under God. Okay, so realize, whether there are bad things ahead for you or good things ahead for you depends on you. So the first thing you do is pray, and you seek the direction and the blessing of God Himself. There's no one better to have on your side, and if you ask Him, He'll guide you and He'll bless you. And then to put yourself out there and start doing it, and help the people around you do it. Okay, do that. And there's nothing that would help more to turn this country around than more people, more individuals, and more families out there doing the best they can every day to build the quality of their lives and the people around them. So I'm going to let you go with that one. I'm going to begin my week of relaxing, sitting around falling asleep by this fire, and hearing the kids run around and scream and yell and have good times. And occasionally Kelly will nudge me and wake me up, and I'll go join in and get back to work on the book. But you all have a good time. I hope that you're getting some relaxation in, and you're not letting this situation stress you out, because stress it takes away from your ability to, to apply yourself the way you could. So anyway, remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And the first preparations have to do with mindset, and that is, okay, bad times may be coming, but I'm not going to let them come for me. What do I need to do? And then get at it. And I'll tell you one thing, that would have been a good place to stop, but I'm going to add something. I used to tell the people that I would train, or people who work for me, there's only two parts to a job, and that is get started, and the second part is keep going until you're done. Okay? You all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.